ensuring our families are informed and safe.
For more resources, tools, and strategies on how to be smart, I encourage you to visit besmartforkids.org. Join us as we work to keep our students safe all year long.
Hello, I'm Henry Shake Washington, Hillsborough County School Board member. District 5, you're watching Hillsborough Schools Television. Together, we are preparing students for life.
Hi, I'm Karen Perez, Chair of Hillsborough County School Board. I want to welcome you to Hillsborough County Public Schools, a donde servimos más de 200 miles de estudiantes. That includes children in preschool and adults through our workforce program.
Hi, I'm Jessica Vaughn, the school board's vice chair. Our district is the 7th largest in America, and our team is made up of 24,000 people working at close to 250 sites across the county.
Our district is diverse and dedicated. Our board meetings are held in our board auditorium on select Tuesdays at 4 p.m. The best way to serve our students and our community is to involve you, the public, in what we do.
You are welcome to meet or email any of our school board members and follow our district on social media. School board meetings are covered live by Hillsborough Schools TV on Spectrum 635 and Frontier Channel 32.
Meetings are also streamed live on our website at hillsboroughschools.org. Closed captioning is provided on all broadcasts, and past meetings are available in our online archive.
We are interested in what the public has to say. We'll include time for audience comments before we address our business items. Our agenda and any supporting materials can be viewed online in advance. They are posted 7 days before each meeting on our website at hillsboroughschools.org.
Our vision is preparing students for life, and that means all students every day. Todos los estudiantes, todos los días. Thank you for your interest in education. With your help, we are making decisions that shape our community's future.
The board meeting of December 12th, 2023 is called to order. Member Rendon will now lead us in a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Member Rendon will now please acknowledge our student entertainment.
Thank you. I would like to thank Progress Village Middle Magnet School Victorian Carolers, along with Principal Peter Magera and Director Kristen Frazan. These wonderful students entertained us prior to the start of our board meeting. At this time, we would like to invite the students up to introduce themselves. They also entertained us all afternoon by going floor by floor of ROSAC and entertaining all of our staff. Thank you so much. Please come and introduce yourselves.
Hello, my name is Taylor Alvarez, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Crystal Nicole Martinez, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Amber Wynn, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Maya Rodriguez, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Caroline Boyd, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Alexis Marion, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Zoe Zawacki, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Maya Neshley Rivera, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Olivia Osberry, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Irie Oguo, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Isabella Ross, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Gianna Nolan, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Sully Christopher, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Virginia Jackson, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Samantha Mejia, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm Michelle Torres, and I'm in the 8th grade.
I'm their director, Kristen Franzen. I've been teaching for 25 years, so I'm in the 25th grade, maybe. So thank you so much for letting us share the holidays with you.
I'm Santa Claus. I'm from the North Pole.
Yep. Parents, come up and take pictures if you want.
You guys were amazing.
So good, so cute. We have no withdrawn items today. I need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Gray. Any discussion? Please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes unanimously. Let the record reflect that all board members are present. We have 4 sets of minutes to be approved today. November 9th, 2023, School Board Workshop. November 14th, 2023, School Board Meeting. November 28th, 2023, School Board Meeting. December 5th, 2023, School Board Recognition Meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Pablo, could you clear the board, please? I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Member Gray. Any discussion? If not, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes unanimously.
If we could take a pause for a second. Ms. Perez is not present tonight, and the voting is not accurate, so we just need to have Pablo correct that.
Do you want to retake that vote?
No, the minutes will reflect it. Just to announce publicly, the first vote passed 6-0 with Member Perez being absent, and the second vote passed 6-0 with Member Perez being absent, and the minutes will reflect that. So you're fine to go forward, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Board members, I would like to go over the format of today's meeting. As a reminder, we are a non-partisan board who believe all children can be empowered to learn and to succeed. Our decisions will be made with that understanding. To pave the way for efficient and effective agenda, statements or questions, board members will have 5 minutes to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Afterward, the superintendent can respond. If you have further questions, you're asked to get back in the queue. Member Rendon will now read the board guidelines.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we begin this afternoon's meeting, please allow me to quickly review the format of our school board meetings. Please silence all electronic devices. There are speakers in the room behind me and allow board members to hear the meeting upon stepping away from the dais. This meeting can be viewed with closed captioning on live broadcast, on cable TV, and on video monitors here in the auditorium. It also will be viewed with closed captioning in the online video archive.
Thank you. We have one item scheduled for time certain, 6 p.m., employee input. Public comment. The board welcomes comments from citizens and values your input to the board. In order to provide the most comprehensive response to your comments, our staff will follow up with you and keep our board informed about the responses. Our school board respects the public's right to speak to the board, and we appreciate you taking your time to be here. However, it is requested that you address the board that when you address, the board comments are not directed personally against a board member or staff member, but rather directed at the issues. Any behavior intended to interrupt the orderly conduct of this meeting will not be allowed. Our civility policy is in place. When addressing the board, please state your name and speak clearly into the microphone. This afternoon, each speaker will have 3 minutes. Reminder that your 3 minutes start when you begin speaking. When there are 30 seconds left, you will see a yellow light on the lectern. A red light and a chime will indicate when your time is up. I will now call up the first 5 speakers.
Mark Lutho, Largo. 701, approve appointments of architectural design and construction management firms for continuing service contracts. Same. Not going to get anywhere like this. 702, 03, 04, 05. More bad buildings. Yeah. And so the key word is correlation. The headline, climate change will be a fiscal disaster. And the coral, researchers see mass mortality amid Florida Keys bleaching crises. Antarctica sea ice at unprecedented low. Atlantic hurricanes are intensifying faster, study says. UN report spells out dire consequences of climate change. CO2 level highest in human history. And of course, I've had this many times. Better buildings by design. Winston Churchill in Time magazine, 1960, we shape our buildings thereafter they shape us. The future is dim, very dim. And then this column in the Sunday paper, Daniel Ruth. The rich irony of a Moms for Stupidity co-founder caught in Florida sex scandal. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Down there in Sarasota today, there's an effort to oust her from the school board. Yeah. They're nothing but a bunch of hypocrites. Yeah. Yeah, But it's so typical of the Republicans. Do as I say, not as I do, right?
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Colleen Bianucci. I'm a mom of a first grader named Victor, who's sitting in the audience, and a kindergartner named Roman, who's also here today. My children attend Apollo Beach Elementary, and as one of the chairs of the K-8 initiative at Apollo Beach, I've had the opportunity to speak with many current, past, and future ABES families. The support from our community is immense for our initiative. As of today, we have well over 1,700 signatures supporting the idea of a K-8 in Apollo Beach. While I can't speak for each and every one of them, I want to make sure as many voices are heard as possible. We recently polled over 200 former Apollo Beach families to find out if their children would return to Apollo Beach if given the option for a K-8. The overwhelming majority said yes. Those who said no because their children are entering 8th or 9th grade. Of those polled, 45% said that their children are currently attending a charter school. In addition to that, over 50% cited having to pull their kids out before 5th grade in order to secure a spot for middle school. Because so many of our students are attending charter and private schools, each year the school district is losing FTE funds. If we had a K-8 at Apollo Beach, the school district would be able to recoup a lot of that money. Our community is not asking for a fancy auditorium. We're not asking for a world-renowned sportsplex. Our community is asking for a public school option that allows our children to stay together from kindergarten through 8th grade. We want our children to attend a school staffed with qualified, present, invested teachers. We want our children to attend a school that is filled with their peers from their community. We want our children to continue to be challenged and to help them be prepared for high school. We firmly believe that Apollo Beach is that school. Please take into consideration what we are asking. While we know that the cost is a concern, please keep in mind that we are trying to come up with a viable option that will make everyone happy. Thank you for your time. Happy holidays to each and every one of you, and I look forward to seeing you in January.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, I'm Natalie Bailey. I currently have a 5th grader at Apollo Beach. He'll actually be speaking next. And we, too, would love to see Apollo Beach become a K through 8th. We feel that K through 8th offers a greater sense of communal connection, creating nurturing environment to ensure every student feels that they belong. We are trying to create a nurturing community that allows students to find unique voices and explore their passion. K through 8th will allow kids to with mutual interests, creating an environment that encourages learning with their peers that they are already familiar with. These kids feel comfortable with each other, and they have been with each other since kindergarten, and as well as longer as being neighbors. Not only do the kids know each other very well, us as parents do too. We have grown with these kids and their families as they are our friends and neighbors. We all feel safe as we are respected and have the same goals and values. We build positive relationships with the community around our school. K through 8th will help create safe and supportive environment in the school by emphasizing aspects of the school environment that encourages students to be more engaged in their school life and feel connected and with important adults at school and at home. Kids already built the trust with these schools, teachers, and their peers. K through 8th would be an easy transition for them. Apollo Beach is not the little town that it once was. We are a growing community, and we continue to grow. With the rapid growth, we continue to see home developing and many of the families moving to Apollo Beach. In addition to the home growth, we've seen an increase of restaurants, fast foods, grocery stores, hospitals, roads, etc., but not public school options. We simply do not have the public school options for kids for our growing community, and we need more options. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Mason, and I'm very nervous about leaving my school because I really love my school. My friends and I talk about how sad we are that we will not be able to see each other next year. It makes me very scared and very nervous. I love that I can walk across the street to my school from my house. I meet up with all my friends and we walk across the street and then get to class. I feel safe knowing that all I need to do is just walk across the street to get to my school. I made so many friends and do not want to leave them, and I do not want to leave them next year. My 6th grade friends tell me how stressful it is that they have to sit in traffic on the way to and from school. This gives me a lot of anxiety knowing that I have to sit in traffic to and from school, and I really like that I am able to get home fast and play with my friends and start my homework quick. That way I can get good grades and be successful, and I also get to practice my baseball. And K through 8 will help me to be able to do that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Could I have the next 5 speakers line up, please? Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Annie Brooks, and thank you for hearing from us all today. I believe in public schools. I'm a K through 12 Hillsborough County Public School System alumna. I went to Lithia Springs Elementary, Randall Middle, and Newsom High School. Then I went on to get 2 degrees from 2 public universities, Florida State and The Ohio State University. I left Hillsborough County, and then I left Florida, but I came home to raise a family. My son is a 1st grader at Apollo Beach Elementary. My hope is that he will also be a K through 12 graduate of Hillsborough County schools. Unfortunately, many of the kids in his school won't continue through public schooling if things stay the way that they are. Their parents will make the same hard decision that many in our neighborhood have, opting for one of the many charter schools that offer what they feel is a safer and more reliable middle school option. These charter schools operate with government funding, yet operate independently from the school system. Increasing charter enrollment causes a direct decrease in funds allocated to traditional public schools because public school funding is based on attendance. To keep students in our local public schools, we need Apollo Beach Elementary to become a K-8 school. Until there are enough local options for the growing number of 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students, families will continue to select other options, and I believe strongly that isn't best for the community or the district. Please help us expand our neighborhood school and keep our students in Hillsborough County Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello. My name is Shannon Lacey. I have 3 children in Hillsborough County South Shore Schools. They're currently in 4th, 6th, and 8th grade. All 3 attended Apollo Beach Elementary School. I've been involved with the K-8 initiative from the very first meeting. I want to first thank you for listening to our concerns today for the future of our elementary and middle school students in Apollo Beach. I also want to make a special request to say that, a point to say that this is not a group of parents who are being picky about their school options. These are families struggling to have a viable and consistent middle school option to send our kids to. I ask that when you hear my personal story that you think about how it would be affected in your family. My eldest child, who now attends York Innovation Academy as an 8th grader, was the start of our journey with the middle school debacle that is the South Shore. We applied him for LLT. He landed first on the wait list after the first round of placement, so we were very excited. This is a good opportunity. He should be able to get into a school. He spent February, March, April, May, June, and August as first on that wait list, while LLT understandably lit siblings in ahead of him. He never received placement at LLT, and we eventually sent him to SLAM. Although he is a great kid and he did academically well at SLAM, he was separated from all of his friends, and it was a struggling year for him. As a 6th grader, you're still young and you want to be consistently with your friends. To not have that is really hard, especially starting out middle school. I mean, middle school is no joke. We all know. We've all been there. So he did academically well, but he was struggling without friends. Once enrolled at York, we determined also that his pre-algebra math from SLAM didn't transfer to the York curriculum. He ended up unnecessarily repeating an entire class. This is another thing that people face is if they do go to a different school, the classes they're taking don't always meet up with the new school that they're attending. At the time of my oldest transferring to York, we had planned on taking my soon-to-be 5th grader and 3rd graders out of Apollo Beach to save them a seat. However, my 5th grader, excited to be a safety patrol and stay with his friends, begged me to let him stay at Apollo Beach Elementary, as did my 3rd grader. This decision spiraled our family into months of uncertainty this year. Is that it? Okay, 30 minutes. I'll just say the inconsistency of the letting siblings in rule affected our family on both sides. Siblings not getting in, siblings getting in. So our lack of choices at Apollo Beach put unnecessary stress on families. It takes away from your schools, our schools, and it's not conducive to building and cultivating community. Parents want to be involved. When you spread them out over different middle schools, they're not able to be as involved. To leave behind a beloved elementary school to save a spot in another school is counterproductive and damaging.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Maximus Wassam, and I'm in 3rd grade at Apollo Beach Elementary. I'm here to ask you to turn my school into a K-8 school. There are 3 reasons why I want this. First, Apollo Beach Elementary is already a really good school, and it will probably be a good K-8 school since it has a strong foundation and a community that loves it. Second, a lot of families are being split in my community. The closest middle schools are hard to get in, so siblings end up at different schools. If my brother and I don't get accepted at a K-8 school by our house, we will be at 2 different schools. Next year, when he starts kindergarten, this is happening to a lot of parents. I know this is stressful and sad. I've lost a lot of friends who have already moved to charity and magnet schools. So far, 9 of my friends left Apollo Beach Elementary when they go into another K-8 school close by. Thank you for this opportunity to speak about this important issue.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Bryce Easterwood. I am a 3rd grader at Apollo Beach Elementary. I am here to ask you to turn Apollo Beach Elementary School into a K-8 school. 3 reasons I want this is so that I can stay with my friends and my brother and sister. Number 2 is because I don't like feeling new at a new school. And number 3, I've tried charter schools and they are not a good fit for me or my family. Thank you. And please turn Apollo Beach Elementary School into a K-8 school.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cooper Easterwood, and I would like you to turn this school into a K-8 grade, and 3 reasons why. So I can be with my brother and sister longer. And Apollo Beach Elementary School is a great place. It is close to my home. And again, I want you to turn the school, Apollo Beach Elementary School, into a K-8 school. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Could the next 5 speakers line up, please? Next speaker, please.
Am I good? Okay. There's so many things that have already been said from the kids that really have to live through this, and obviously I hope that my 2 sons that just spoke can stay in the same school when their sister starts as well. I just want to say that we have such a big following where I can see on social media that there's so many parents that support this, but they're not able to come because of the meeting time. And I just want to mention that so that we know that they're here in spirit supporting this initiative. We appreciate all the time that you guys have already contributed to this. We are asking now to turn our small glimmer of hope into reality. And that's a reality that I think you can see from hearing from the older students that will help support the mental and social well-being of these kids through their developing years. And I can speak for a dual working household that commute and making things work with multiple children is just such a challenge. So please continue to focus on this. Please help us make it into a reality. Like Colleen said, we're not asking for a glamorous place. We're asking for a safe place to help our kids continue to move in the direction that they are right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Todd Gonzalez. First off, thank you for your time. I moved to Florida about 10 years ago, specifically in Hillsborough County. I've been here about 6 years, and this school board is really involved. We had an issue with kind of a conflicting attendance issue between the school and the county. I reached out and it was resolved the same day. I mean, we're talking about the day of registration. So I know that this board is involved. I appreciate that. Just to underscore and reiterate a couple of points that the community's brought up here is that the time is now. Middle school options, we need them in Apollo Beach. It's going to be exacerbated with the building that's going on. We all know that. It's important to community. You know, our children are growing up in this community together. My daughter's in 5th grade, she'll speak in a minute, but she'll likely have to go to another school, and that means that her friends will go to other schools that won't be in the same place. My other daughter, who will also speak briefly, is in 2nd grade, and she has an option, potentially, depending on this board, to stay in the K-8 option at Apollo Beach. So in summary, I just appreciate you guys considering this. I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Lindsay. I am in 5th grade. It is important for me to be here today and voice the importance for us to have a K through 8 option. I will be going into this 6th grade next year and will likely be going to a different schools than a lot of my friends. Our community is close and it's sad that we can't all be together. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, I'm Alana. I'm in 2nd grade, and it would benefit from K to 8 option. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
I got to put on my glasses. My name is Jessica McNeve. I have 2 boys that attend Apollo Beach Elementary, and I'd like to read a few highlights from an article, and this article is actually from Tampa Bay Parenting, written in September 2017. For years, educators and parents, academic research institutes have uncovered benefits for students at K through 8. Students in K through 8 thrive in the vibrant sense of community, develop important leadership and skills better academically than those who attend a traditional K-5 and a 6 through 8 environment. There are 5 advantages for a K through 8 offers to students. Culture of community. A culture of community is built on relationships which emphasize on communities being essential to its culture. Years and years after the community nurtures these relationships, resulting in increased student self-esteem and a spirit of success. Number 2, community of parent involvement. A key factor of student success of parent involvement, which remains steady through a K through 8, thereas it falls through when it becomes through middle school. Leadership opportunities. When the expectation of an 8th grader is to be a role model for the rest of the students, they rise to the occasion. Waiting until high school delays the chance for a student to grow and think as leaders. Students in K through 8 schools can put leadership into school in practice. Leadership and skills into practice at school. Time to discover the strengths is number 4. The K through 8 students graduate as required as a composite of leadership and personal experiences that allow him or her to transition to high school. And number 5, academic and social success. Quote, top dogs. Test scores may improve as well. SAT scores in reading, math, and science are significantly stronger in K through 8 schools. Students from K through 8 schools were 11% more likely to be enrolled in selective high school programs. Students from K through 8 schools also demonstrate a higher GPA in 9th grade. We hope that you guys take these advantages into consideration for our community school. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. Well, I do want to issue an explicit content warning again. This is the worst. I know I've said that many times before, but you need to know this is the absolute worst. So brace yourselves, and I would please ask that if you have children that you would take them out. So I ask you, where is the line? Every responsible adult will say there is a line, and your constituents need to know whether you're willing to draw the line. Up to this point, it appears that you have not. You say you don't want pornography in school libraries, yet you sit on your hands and do nothing. You have heard me talk about book after book in your school libraries. Nothing is done. Allen Ginsberg is a name you need to write down. You need to know this name. We have 44 books featuring Allen Ginsberg's poetry and his life in middle schools and high schools. I don't know what all of them say, but I do have some samples. Allen Ginsberg was NAMBLA's most famous member and defender. NAMBLA is the North American Man-Boy Love Association, a pedophilia and pederasty advocacy organization that works to abolish the age of consent laws and legalize sexual relations between adults and children. I've heard that their motto is, sex after 8 is too late. Here's a quote from Ginsberg. I'm a member of NAMBLA because I love boys too. Everybody does who has a little humanity. He has appeared in NAMBLA documentaries reading one of his poems. He is still featured on the NAMBLA website to this day. Can you guess what many of his poems are about? What about the one entitled, Sweet Boy, Give Me Your Ass? Or maybe this one's called Please Master. It's repeated over and over. Please, master, make me go moan on the table. Please, master, F me more violently and throb 5 seconds to spurt out your semen heat. Another one, let me lick your neck. Come on, boy, fingers through my hair. Ever slept with a man before? Come on, beautiful boys with breasts, bright gold. Take down your blue jeans. We'll have some raw fun. Lie on your bellies, and I'll stop there. There's one that repeats spank me and F me over and over. What if he, like other authors that I've seen come to our schools, wanted to come and mentor kids about writing? Is that a line you would cross? This is not a First Amendment issue. Putting porn in front of kids is not your First Amendment right. This is not a book banning issue. This is about protecting children, and that is all. Do you have a line? Where is it? I implore you, get off your hands and do something. Allen Ginsberg deserves no shelf space in our school libraries.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. You can start. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Carmen Edmonds, and I'm here to ask the school board to not adopt the addendum for the Seven Mindsets Academy. This money needed to pay an outside vendor to look at outcomes on SEL learning, and its goal of reducing school violence is not needed. All you need to do is go out into the schools and ask the teachers what it's like every day in our classrooms. I've reached out to several teachers, and they say the classroom environment is definitely more hostile the last several years. So can we deduce SEL is not working? I say yes. But if you look at the articles I gave you, you can see studies are finding SEL is leaving kids more depressed and leaving kids behind in the areas of reading, writing, and arithmetic. And the other article cites several studies correlating illiteracy increases aggression, assault, arson, and sadistic acts aimed at their peers and siblings. In fact, one article states, it is possible that reading failure is the single most significant factor in those forms of delinquency which can be described as anti-socially aggressive. And also, we have known for a long time there is a correlation between delinquency and academic failure, inability to read. Dr. Carl Klein, a child, adolescent, and psychiatrist internationally known for his expertise in children's learning disabilities, states, every poor reader who does not receive appropriate help will develop significant emotional problems. So, with many of our schools failing in the areas of reading and math, wouldn't our taxpayer money be put to better use in programs that teach our kids these skills? SEL is not working. Social emotional learning is not working, and we see that every day. Please take the correct steps to get all of our schools up to reading and math proficiency. SEL is a waste of time and money. Thank you.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Washington. Please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes with all present members voting yes and Member Perez being away from the dais. I will now call on Superintendent Ayers to highlight our administrative appointments.
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. Board members, we have one principal appointment on the consent agenda this afternoon. And if I could have Conrad McCree please stand. Conrad McCree is our new principal at Franklin Boys Preparatory Academy. Mr. McCree, yeah, give him a hand. Come on up, yeah. Mr. McCree, come on up. We can see you back there. So here's our new principal at Franklin Boys Prep. Mr. McCree began his career in education in Pinellas County as a teacher, AP, and principal. And in just 2023, he joined Hillsborough County Public Schools as an assistant principal at Hillsborough High School. Mr. McCree is a doctoral candidate and serves on many advisory and philanthropic boards. Mr. McCree, congratulations, the new principal, Franklin Boys Prep.
Congratulations, Mr. McCree. The following items will now be heard: C-103, C-302, C-402, C-601, C-706, and C-901. 103, Purchase agreement addendum with Seven Mindsets Academy. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. So, board members, our first agenda on discussion this evening is our Seven Mindsets Academy. Hillsborough County Public Schools was awarded the Bureau of Justice Students, Teachers, and Officers Preventing School Violence Stop Grant in fall of 2021. All 6 Stop School Violence schools, Foster, Graham, Miles, Shaw, Shehai, and Witter, have been trained to implement the Seven Mindsets curriculum with their students and staff. The Stop School Violence Project activities are designed to train school personnel and educate students on preventing school violence using resiliency and life skill strategies with the Seven Mindsets curriculum. So with this agenda item, board members, just a reminder, this was approved in the fall of 2021. This is all grant funded through the grant I just mentioned. There was a 1-year extension on that grant, and this agenda item is to purchase the Seven Mindsets curriculum to go along with the grant that we received back in the fall of 2021. Thank you.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve C-103. I have a motion. I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Member Gray. Member Rendon, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, thank you to staff for taking the time, Julie, for meeting with me and having a conversation around this. As we talked earlier, I want to make sure that we understand that although there's some really good key aspects of Seven Mindsets, and I say that in general because there are some good characteristics of being part of your community, engaging in executive information, taking power of your own things and things. I want to make sure that as we look at things in the future, we look at ways in which we can empower our own staff, ways in which we have a plethora of 25,000 employees with excessive talent and history as well as huge knowledge. And so I want to make sure that as we look for the future, we're looking to look within, empowering our staff to build some curriculum, empower our administrators to be part of that building process so that we have more control of exactly what we're doing in our classrooms, first of all. Second of all, so that we're empowering our teachers, our staff members to be building their own careers, building their own resumes so that they are going out and looking what they can do for the future. And I think this is part of the empowerment process, that we look at our own staff to be doing more and more of things within our own community. We are the 3rd largest district in the state, the 7th in the country. We should be putting this curriculum together. We should be being in the forefront of the next generation of what we're doing, and our teachers should be leading the way. They have the talent, and I want to see that being used more. And so that's why I pulled this item, because I think when we're looking at different items as we move, we need to think about that for the future. So thank you for taking your time to have that conversation with me.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Gray?
Thank you, Member Vaughn. And, I often think that when we have SEL items come, it comes to be a philosophical matter when it comes to education. Philosophically, we have to ask ourselves, is the child mentally ready to learn? Is the child socially, emotionally ready to learn? And in my book, that's 4 decades of teaching and learning. I believe that is a priority. The child must be mentally, socially, emotionally ready to learn. Now, the other flip side of this, should we not pay more attention to math, science, reading, writing, and arithmetic? And absolutely. But you have to think, if a child comes to school with trauma, food insecurity, domestic violence, lack of eyesight because they can't afford eyeglasses, things that you would never even think happens to children, how can they learn? I say this, Seven Mindsets is part of the curriculum. So is trauma-based teaching, because we put it in the curriculum. And I think it has to be said over and over, our children need every bit of mental support, social support, emotional support that we can, Superintendent Van Ayers, afford. And that's how and when a child will learn. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Combs?
Thank you. I also really strongly support this curriculum. As much as I know how amazing our teachers are and how they could write curriculum, it does take a master's in curriculum and instruction. And we really, if you talk about more and more teachers being out and writing a curriculum, that's less teachers in the classroom. So when you look at this program, what you're seeing is you're seeing a national program that is vetted, that is researched, that is built. And so that's why this has been as a grant that we were given, and it started in 2021 and it ends in 2025. This curriculum is used around the nation. You have people who have PhDs who have done research, who have looked at that to see that it's effective. And as much as I think it's important, you know, our teachers write curriculum all the time. I know for me as a teacher, I worked out new teacher training all the time. I created curriculum. I wrote curriculum. But what you're finding, more and more people are working more and more hours, and there's just not enough time to complete that. And then how do we know that's effective? How do we know it's research based? How do we know that it really does build the capacity and make sure that kids are making good decisions, that they're not more at risk? So I think when you have a national curriculum that's really, really strong, I don't see how you can compare that and say that our teachers, I completely know how hard our people work in the district, but teachers are already working 2 or 3 jobs. And even at the district level, they're doing multiple things. To say that we can just create a curriculum and have it out the next year, I think that's a big, heavy lift. It's not that I don't think that there's a capability, but people get PhDs in curriculum instruction, and those people often go work at textbook companies, and they work with 7 Mindsets, and they help develop that curriculum. And so what you find is when those people do get really established, unfortunately, they often leave the school district because the school district is asking for so much. So someone who's been involved in curriculum and instruction and has worked with textbook companies, and I'm very involved at USF, you'll see that usually those people have masters or PhDs in curriculum instruction with guidance, and then they do long-term research. A book just isn't created and then sent out. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Rendon?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I want to clarify my statements. I was not directing our teachers to take on one more responsibility. I was stating as a district that we could come up with programs in which we could empower members of our staff on all levels to be looking at curriculum as we move forward. So I want to make that very clear that I believe our teachers have quite a bit on their plates. They're doing a phenomenal job in our classrooms, and I'm talking about as a district-wide looking at future programs. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think about a year ago, I did make a comment about the 7 Mindsets. So all I have to say, go 7 Mindset. What a great program. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Washington. I think it's been some really good discussion. I don't disagree with Member Rendon in the general sense that it would be nice if we were able to write some stuff from in-house instead of having to go out of house. However, speaking to 7 Mindsets, we did have this discussion last year, and I cannot speak highly enough about what an impact it has in the schools that I've been in, that it's implemented, and getting feedback from the teachers who have to use it. And to Member Gray's point, to, look at the whole child when we're talking about education. We all know, regardless of, what statistics that we can pull, if a child's hungry, if they're tired, if they've had trauma the night before, they're not going to be in a position to learn. So making sure that we're addressing the whole child, their needs, their emotions, so that they're in a place to be able to receive the information that our teachers and staff work so hard to present to them has got to be a priority of the school board. And again, every single time I've gone into any school where there have been 7 Mindsets, all I've gotten is the most positive feedback about what an impact it has. So out of all the things that I'm excited about passing, when we talk about things that we're going to pass, I'm really excited about passing this and giving more opportunity to our schools that need it the most to have the opportunity to use it. Thank you. And seeing that there's no more discussion on this, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes with all members present voting yes. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The motion passes with all member present except for Member Rendon voting yes and Member Perez being away from the dais. Oh, let's try that again. I'm going to get this right. Are you ready? The motion passes with Member Rendon voting no, all present other members voting yes, and Member Perez being away from the dais. Got that one. Thank you. All right. The next item, 302, increase in expenditures for piggyback contracted service agencies for special education. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. So with item 302, board members, back on May 9th of this year, the board approved this agenda item for contracted services, and at this time expenditures have exceeded our original expectations as we've hired more into these positions than we expected, which is a good thing. So I'm going to kind of go through real quick what we've been able to do. But again, this item is for increasing expenditures of an item that was approved on May 9th of 2023. The piggyback agreements have allowed HCPS to utilize the staffing services of 6 local agencies that are currently providing services to HCPS students in various capacities, and additional 3 national agencies to address our critical shortage areas. So far this year, we filled the following vacancies with these contracted services. So we have 59 ESE teachers that have been filled, 171 paraprofessionals, 1 registered behavior tech, 1 vision teacher, 1 school psychologist, 1 physical therapist, 2 physical therapist assistants, and 86 speech therapists. So with this agreement, again, that was approved on May 9th of 2023, we have exceeded the original expenditures of $4 million. This agenda item is requesting an additional increase in those monies allocated for this particular agenda item.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item CO2. I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Member Combs. Member Gray, Member Rendon, and I pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments? Member Gray, do you want to go first?
We are just getting used to our buttons here. But at any rate, I really want to also, in my remarks, welcome Shannon Lesperance, and I hope I pronounced that name correctly. And we are looking forward to your engagement in a very, very much needed area of the ESE. I also want to thank Holly Sayeh for always becoming a voice for the mental health and welfare of our ESE population. Having said that, my only question and concern is when we have agencies, and really this goes to Superintendent Van Ayers, because Shannon, you don't have to answer this. I'll just give him a little bit of a hard time. But when it comes to our agencies, just example, the nurses. I worry that the CTA and our teachers, ESE teachers, the agencies are making more money per hour than our teachers. Now, this is true in the area of nursing, and it has created dissidence among our CTA members. And I think it's time that we assure the CTA especially, and our teachers that this is not the case with the ESE. If you can just elaborate.
Right. So with this agreement here, the ones that are hired through these contracted agencies, they in some cases do make more per hour, but there are no FRS benefits or our medical benefits that come along with our employees. So in some cases they make more per hour, but the benefits of being our employee far outweigh what they receive through these contracted agencies.
Okay.
And our goal ultimately is as we get through this year, we went here to try to fill vacancies that we had. So back in May of 2023, we realized that we have a critical shortage areas in ESE. Let's see how these contracted agencies come in and help us fill some of these vacancies. Our goal is to not have contracted agencies, but have all of these filled in-house. And this was something that we looked at in May to try to fill those vacancies as fast as we could, and we went out with this option. But my goal moving forward is that all of these are employed by Hillsborough County Public Schools.
And I thank you for that, because the goal is to get these positions filled with our own teachers. And I know that this was, it was an emergency. We had to do this. So I'm very grateful that you investigated and found a way out. Just that's the only caution
Now, and I would even add, I mean, if we look just an example, the 59 ESC teachers that are in our schools right now through these contracted agencies, there's an opportunity where these 59 as a positive to this agenda item. Here are 59 ESC teachers that would have the ability to come over to join Hillsborough County Public Schools at their schools that they're working at as part of us and not part of that contracted agencies. But we need this. This is about getting us through the end of the year with the contracted agencies that we already approved back in May. So it's the increase in expenditure to get us to the end of the year. Positive here is now we have opportunities to bring a lot of these employees in-house, if they choose.
And our paras, I know we might have some up-and-coming paras that might be interested in these positions. Thank you, Superintendent. I'm done.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Rendon?
Well, as you guys know, those of you who've run around, unfortunately, you guys were not here when we voted this in last. Dr. Patton and Shannon, thank you all so much for being here. So one of the issues that I have with this contract, and I continue to have, is that when it came to us last time, I asked for it to be removed from the ESC department. At the end of the day, your role is to focus on our students, our IEPs, and our ESC programs. And I would prefer this item to be put under HR. It is a critical need that HR needs to be able to handle. I say it all the time, it's 10% of our students and 90% of our liability. And so at the end of the day, we need our HR department to have a priority when it comes to our ESC students. One of the things I did not ask in our meetings is there is a reduction in our ESC teachers. Is any part of that based on our new counts? Or has it all been hired?
Ms. Rendon, what reduction?
So from our last contract, we had 243.9 openings. We currently say that we have 212 openings. That's a difference of 31 openings. Were there a difference in the actual number of units? Or is this all because we've actually hired 31?
It's a combination of both.
Okay.
So the 243 was in the spring. So when we did fall units, we may have lost some units, but also we did hire some individuals. We did a lot of hiring, and then we filled out of those vacancies. So right now we have 213 vacancies for ESC teachers, and we're using 53 contracted service providers to fill 53 of those positions.
Of the current openings.
Of the current openings.
So we still have the 213 openings.
We have 213 minus the
53 that we're using for contracted employees, but they're not permanent employees until they decide.
So
correct.
Hopefully we hire.
And I want to thank, because our speech and language, our school psychologists, our social workers, occupational therapists, and physical therapies, those are the ones that we have predominantly used these contracts for.
Correct.
I do want to iterate strongly that this piggyback does not pull from our local vendors. And I think that is critical to know. I'm going to continue to vote no on this, not because ESC is not a priority, but again, 6 months after we worked on this contract and we talked about this again, we have not reached out to any local vendors who could actually be working with us on a placement basis with our HR department so that we would not have to be paying the same staff doing the same job in the same school, 2 different salaries. We have other vendors that are currently being used within our district that have the ability to work on taking up some of these vacancies, and we have not reached out to them. So unfortunately, that's where I come here. And that makes me sad because ESC is one of our most vulnerable students in our district. And so I'm going to continue to vote no on this until we continue to make the changes. We absolutely need to look at our local vendors to be able to fill some of these positions, which they can, and they could do it at a rate equal to what we'd be paying our staff. We also need to be looking and making sure that this comes under our HR department, so our ESC department gets the same equitable opportunities for staff as every other one of our students. And so I thank you for taking the time to be able to do that. I thank you for everyone who's met with me. But again, I'm going to vote no on this until we get it right and we start making ESC a priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Combs?
Thank you. As you can see, I think this is a very complex issue, and I think it's a very big challenge that we have. I agree with Member Rendon. It should go under the HR, and it's very complex. As I was out at Caminiti this past week, and when I spoke to the principal, he said, if I didn't have this contract, then there would be 3 less people, and they've been great. And one had caught an eloper that day or that week. They'd caught an eloper. Someone had been under contract. So it's a very complex issue. I think it comes down to not being able to pay our teachers enough over and over. And that's not really a local issue. That is a state issue going all the way down when we're not going to be able to pay our people. And so it's very difficult to have a teacher working in the same side by side and making less. Even if they're not getting the FRS and the insurance, people don't really look at it that way. They just look at their bottom check and what they're bringing home. And so that's very complicated. I do think we probably need to have a workshop and then really have a plan now, 6 months up, and what we're going to do to really heavily recruit not only these people there, but local people, and how we're going to recruit outside people in the district to make sure, because these are our neediest students, and the needs are so high. As I said, when I was at Caminiti or at the bazaar the other day, you see the needs of those students are so high, and more you're seeing a huge increase of students with exceptional needs, and how much help that they need. And when we don't have the people, I'm going to support this because there's no other choice. It's a complex issue. We have to support that. I know the principals need people who are going to be there to support the students. I don't want something horrible or an accident to happen because we don't have the support there. But I do think we need to look at a bigger plan. And I know at the end of the day, it's all about HR and recruiting and bringing people in, but it's a very complex issue.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Gray?
Did you want to speak? I don't think so, okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to decipher some of this. I'm counting 29 agencies. So are these agencies not local?
So there are 9 on the piggyback, 6 are local, and 3 are national.
Okay.
We primarily use the local vendors, and then we use one which is a state, which is not part of the piggyback, but we also use a 22nd Century, which is a state bid. We use that for paras because their rates are much more comparable to what our paras are paid.
Okay, is that because we don't have the local vendors to ask for the bid? I mean, I see, you've rated these down the line, or is it, what is the rationale that we didn't use all local agencies?
So the current RFPs that we have do not include teachers and paras, so that's why we use the piggyback to really address the teacher and para issue, but that doesn't mean we can't continue to look at an RFP for future.
Okay. The other question is, it's not really a question. The ESE population is not being served at the moment because we simply don't have the expertise in the classrooms unless we do have these agencies. I find that this is a stopgap situation, Superintendent Van Ayers, that we must do now. But we certainly, to the arguments and to the validation of previous comments, certainly we definitely want to have our teachers to be in these places. So, and I'm looking at the reality. I'm pragmatic. It looks like we must do this for the welfare of the students, and I don't know any other way about it. So, to my personal chagrin, I'm going to support this.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Rendon?
Yes. One more thing I want to make sure that I bring to mind is that one of the things in this last recent weeks, talking with USF, they have an increase of over 10% of looking for ESE degrees. And so I think that is another thing within our district that we need to look for those internships. We do not have one ESE internship in this right now in this district. I think it's important that we follow up with that and we bring that. There was a shortage with students, that they were not, but according to USF, we now have a 10% increase in people seeking ESE degrees, which is exciting to know. I also want to make sure that, and I know that other members of the board feel the same way, that our teachers and our paras and all of our staff that are supporting our ESE programs are doing a phenomenal job. We are so proud of what they're doing in our classrooms, and we are doing that. So I don't want any comments made on this dais to be taken lightly, that it was a personal with them. At this point, we, as a board, I know we all support our ESE programs. We support our teachers that are here, and we want to make sure that they know that we understand what they deal with on a daily basis. And it's a struggle. It's a struggle, and we are here to make sure that they're getting all the support that they need. So I do want to make sure that we acknowledge and we thank them for the work that they're doing. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Member Rendon. I agree with a lot of the comments made. I know this is challenging because as Member Rendon, you two are new, and welcome. A lot of work to do. And it is a complex issue. I have also received a lot of frustration from our current employees when they see advertisements from the outside vendors at such an enormous pay increase. And, you can say that the benefits make a huge difference, and they do, but when we're all living paycheck to paycheck and inflation is so high and somebody can see such, someone coming in right after them and making such a pay differential, that's a huge demotivating piece to the people who are working for our districts. And so I know that, we're doing everything we can, and this was an option. What I'm hoping is, because so many board members are passionate about it, and I know our superintendent is, and I know our cabinet is, that we're really going to put our heads together and figure out how to solve, the crisis we have when it comes to ESE. And it's not just our ESE teachers and our paras. It's the fact that we don't have counselors and mental health specialists and psychologists in our schools to actually do the IEPs and the 504s to make sure that our students are even identified to receive the services. And although I know that we are faced with the fact that we don't have enough funding and we're always looking for more funding to pay our employees, I do think that when we had a bus driver crisis, we were able to raise the bus driver pay and prioritize that. And I really think that we owe it to our kids, who many board members have said are our most fragile children who need some of the most support, to see if we can look at, like we did with our bus drivers, prioritizing the pay for these employees who work with our ESE students, because it's just as much of a crisis as getting our kids to school, to make sure our kids who have special needs have their needs addressed and have the same opportunities as the rest of our students to succeed. So hopefully if we do have a workshop or we talk about this more as a board, that's something that we can also prioritize, and that's my thoughts on it. Thank you. Member Combs?
Thank you, Member Vaughn. I was also going to say, as far as like recruiting people into education, I'm so honored to be on the USF Dean's Advisory Council. I'm very active there. And although, we do have a 10%, it's not even close to what was 5 or 10 years ago. If you look across the universities in all of the state of Florida, there is a shortage nationally, but there's really even more of a shortage because the cost of living here is so expensive, and teachers are working multiple jobs. That's just a fact. Most teachers are working 2 jobs, and we're paid 48th in the nation for education. So no matter what, a few years ago, we were saving the College of Education at USF, and although enrollment has gone up, we still are so behind in getting teachers to stay. And more importantly, even when they do come, because the starting pay is great, it's retaining them 5 years later. They're not staying. And the number one reason, if you ask them why they leave, is because they can't afford to live and pay their bills. And then on top of it, all the requirements and all the things that are expected of them. So I think it's really important that as we talk about it, we just don't talk about it locally, but we talk about it as a state, how it's time to start paying our educators.
Thank you, Member Combs. Seeing no further discussion, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes with Member Rendon voting no and Member Perez being away from the dais. Item 402, contract with Frontline Technologies for the extension of AppleTrack recruiting. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this agenda item is an extension of the contract for AppleTrack under Frontline Technologies. The anticipated go-live date, as we've talked about for N4, has been moved to January of next year, 2024. N4 will include a talent acquisition module that will be developed during this extension. AppleTrack will be used for candidate applications as well as posting vacancies on to social media sites, job boards, the HCPS website. And the extension is for January 1st, 2024 to June 30, 2024. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item C402. I have a motion by Member Washington, a second by Member Combs. Member Combs, Member Gray, and I pulled this item. Do you have a question or a comment?
Okay, thank you. You know, one of the things that I wanted to talk about is that I'm really, really curious to see the improvements with AppleTrack, and I've talked about this countless times. You know, when I was processing people many years ago in Hillsborough County, through Hillsborough County, I would most of the people who worked in Hillsborough County, I would process them in Pasco and Pinellas County because it was so much faster. The fingerprinting for a district this large to have one area where people have to be processed, and we talked about this, Dr. Patton, to think about South County. If you're in South County, you have to come all the way for an appointment for the ISC to be processed. To me, that is just so, it's just going back like 50 years. I mean, when you look in Pinellas County, they have different places throughout the county where you can be fingerprinted and processed. This AppleTrack system, I hear the principals working with custodians or lunchroom. It is not an easy system. It takes so long. It's still broken. And I think 20 years later, when I think about how I process people, it's still taking a long time. This is a really big issue. I hope that those changes are there. And most importantly, I think we need to think about having other, satellite places, because if I'm living out in Plant City and I have to be processed all the time, all the way to ISC, and then something goes wrong or the bus is late or something happens, and then you're asking me to come back when you're paying me $15 an hour or $16 an hour, and I can work at a fast food place at the same time. I mean, it's just asking a lot, and we need to really kind of tighten up on hiring and recruiting. And if we can't pay people more, then we need to make it easier to be processed to work. Of course, safety of students is number one, and we want to make sure the fingerprints, but if other districts are doing it so much faster, I want to make sure we're doing the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs.
Yes.
Member Gray?
Yes. Thank you, Member Vaughn. And absolutely, that fingerprinting, that whole process, our Hispanic population is dumbfounded as well because it's very complex. And I thought we had it streamlined by now, but not. What I'm hearing is we don't have that. I thought we dealt with that situation.
So
where the fingerprinting and the application process for those without the language and for those with the language was streamlined already.
I don't know if Dr. Patton, if you want to jump in on that process of.
So we do have it streamlined. We want to make sure that we provide an opportunity for those that may have challenges. So we have application Tuesdays where they can actually come and work with someone to help them fill out an application. And, I'm glad to be a part of the organization because we do see some opportunities and we are seeking feedback of how to make it better. So this is always a good chance for us to hear from your thoughts. We've already met with others, done focus groups, and have a recruitment team that's been identified so that we can focus specifically on that and make sure that we're addressing the needs and also focusing on how we can recruit quicker and faster and make people get in the roles as quickly as possible. That's one of our goals. So we're working on that.
And I want to thank you, Dr. Patton, when we talk about recruitment. I'm switching gears, and we have more work to do as we have mentioned, Member Combs, with the processing. But that being said, I did want to say that your innovation so far has been very impressive because when we look at the AppleTrack, you're now going through social media sites, you're going through job hiring sites, and the more innovative we can be, thinking outside the box, certainly with the recruitment, the more success we shall find, especially as it also relates to the ESE population. Also, the nurses. I mean, the board members have spoken. We're short of social workers, school psychologists, bus drivers. We can go down the line, but we need to definitely be thinking outside the box. And I appreciate your work, and I find it to be very compelling and extremely well done. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Rendon?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Patton, this is really not more towards you, but more towards Dr. Weeks. This extension is one more area in which the extension of our computer system is causing us financially more money. And so I want to make sure that we go on record to say that even though we have totals of the different contracts we've got coming on, we are looking for this system to be implemented and be done, because these extensions are adding up in different areas of our budget that are not always accounted for when we talk about bringing on new contracts. And I've said this from the beginning, I'm going to be on it to make sure we get this done and not be continuously approving money. This I will approve because of the fact that it's directly affecting our staff, and I know we need this application, so no matter what staff, we can get them in the door. But because our system wasn't implemented on time, we're having to put out more money for an extension of a contract. And so it's critically important that we get these things done. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. I also pulled this item. First of all, thank you for meeting with me, Dr. Patton, because I was frustrated when I saw an extension of this. I agree with Member Rendon in the fact that it feels like we have all collectively identified some outdated either practices or applications that we would like to see some new ones come forward so we have more accessibility, because that's what I'm hearing from my fellow board members is we want applying to the district to be easy and accessible and convenient. And I know that is a priority of yours, Dr. Patton, but it is frustrating to think that we're moving towards that and then see that we end up not kind of meeting that goal line and having to keep approving these outdated applications or not changing our policies, because we are at such a crucial point where we need to empower and get as many employees in the district and make it as easy for them as possible. So I agree with my fellow board members, that if we need to vote for this to make sure that we don't stop the process from happening, that's a priority. But also I understand the frustration of wanting to move towards things that offer more access or make it easier and continually kind of, having to renew things that we find outdated. So hopefully this will be the last time, and we'll be able to move forward. And I know that that's your commitment as well, Dr. Patton. So seeing that there are no further comments, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes with all members present voting in favor of it and Member Perez being away from the dais. Item 601, budget amendments for period ending November 30th, 2023. Chief Financial Officer Roe Johnson will highlight this item.
Good evening, board members, superintendent, and constituents. We have a brief presentation for our budget amendment for November 2023. The presentation will be given by Ms. Garcia, our budget director.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Ayers.
Yes.
This first slide you've seen many times. It's the original budget that was approved September 7th of 2023 with a projected fund balance of $336 million, which is 20% of our revenue. So the fund balance is 20%. This particular slide, there was very few changes to the general fund budget. As you can see in column D, the only changes were $27 between two functions. Other than that, the budget didn't change. Okay, you gotta move it. Oh. In column E, you can see that we've expended year to date. We've expended $571 million, and we've received $401 million. It's 23% of our revenue was received, and we've expended 33% of our expenditures for an ending fund balance of $160 million. This is approximately 11% fund balance. We show this slide every board meeting. So here you can see that in the month of November, we have a $248 million ending cash balance, And you can see that it starts picking up in December and continues to pick up. It starts decreasing as the expenditures start catching up with the revenue. But you will see an increase in December and January when we start receiving our property tax dollars. Do you have any questions?
First, I need a motion and a second to approve item C601. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Washington. Member Gray and I pulled this item. Member Gray, do you have a comment or a question?
Comment and question. Thank you, Member Vaughn. My questions are going to come very shortly, but first, a very big accolades and great job, Ms. Johnson and team. You know, you've had conservative projections, and you've heard me question, and I'll just speak to myself because I'm the one that was worried about the FTE loss for homeschooling, charter schools, private schools, and, you know, given the House Bill 1. However, it did not come into that fruition, that nightmare. In fact, a 20% fund balance is very impressive. So impressive, and I want the public to hear this, that you were using that money, what was it, 28 million, maybe 30, you'll correct me, to invest in Treasury bonds. Now, when we look at right now, I think we're at 12% fund balance. And that's even with the retros, the teacher retros, with the teacher salaries, which we increased, yet we're still coming out 12%. And mind you, in 2018, we were at 3%, and it was a nightmare, and we had to go through TAN notes and all the other, emergency situations, which I hope this board never has to go through. But at any rate, my question is this. When we have, and I'm so glad you're innovative because I seem to like that word and I like the actual practice, you invested in Treasury bills, and we have an interest rate which is stated 5.48%. I'm just curious, what was the amount that we have accrued, and how will we be using that? Will there be financial movement with that category?
Well, we have been investing because our interest rate are very high at this time. We took this money and placed it in T-bills, Treasury bills. So last year, we received over $13 million more in our interest rate. This year, we're on track to receive the same amount because the interest rates are high, and next year, we're projecting the interest rate to be lower. So now we're locking in at a high rate, and I'm planning to lock in again before we close out this fiscal year at that high rate, because the interest rate next year is planning to plummet a little bit. Mm-hmm. So at that time, I will be already locked in at 5%, so I will be still earning that higher rate. So we plan to end that year close to $13 million more in interest income.
So what I'm hearing is, and I think what the public is hearing, is that we are financially healthy and financially stable, and that is very, very important, because everyone had thought the opposite by this time of the year. Certainly I was, right? Second question, we have a little bit more money from the ESSER 3, 31 million. And I shouldn't say a little bit because that's a lot, really. But where will this money be going in February? I think we're going to put it, and how will it be used?
Presently, we're using that 31 million as we speak. We'll be moving expenditures to ESSER 3 to 31 million worth of expenditures. And based on the team too, we met with the ESSER team, and we have other resources too that is going to increase that from 31 million up to close to 40-some million. So we'll be moving expenditures to ESSER. It ends September 2024. So we're planning to spend all that by June 30th, so we can still increase our fund balance.
Okay, are we spending it on technology? Just to help me out. What do we have?
We're moving eligible expenditures, salaries to ESSER 3 that qualify.
ESSER 3. Mm-hmm. It does get a little confusing, but I'm trying my best. And I just want to thank you, this team, because you're doing an extraordinarily good job, considering there's 5 or 6 of you, but no one would ever know. So kudos to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. I also pulled this item, and I just wanted to clarify some things. I think it's exceedingly important that moving forward, especially if we want to really illustrate to the community how important it is to get the millage, that we be exceedingly transparent with the budget and make sure that we're presenting this stuff and that the public can understand it. So I appreciate the presentation, and I just want to make sure every time that we have amendments going forward that we at least have a visual and presentation for the public to understand. I did have some questions, and I just want to clarify that even though it looks like the fund balance took a big hit, that's because our revenues, especially from our property taxes, don't start to roll in until after December and February, and that fund balance will go back up, that you're reporting real time. So there hasn't been something that we haven't talked about or catastrophic that's happened to our fund balance. That's just the flow and ebb of our revenue versus our expenditures right now, and we'll see that go back up after December and January and February when they start rolling in. That's correct, right?
We actually received a big chunk of property tax dollars a couple of days ago, so it was about $512 million that we received. So you will be seeing a big difference.
Okay, thank you. And also, I would just, after the last meeting where I kind of made sure that we highlighted that any of these financials will be attached to the agenda items so the public could go back and look. I did get some feedback that the parts that we had attached were a bit hard to follow. So I'm wondering, I know that the budget that I look at is the one that goes vertically with the numbers that subtract and add, and you can kind of see it right next to the line item. If we could attach something like that, so if people are trying to follow through, they can see, you know, in and out of which part of the budget that falls. Because I had some people who said it was hard to follow and they couldn't really tell where the money was moving around from. And again, going forward, I just want to make sure we're as transparent as possible so the public understands that.
We attach all our reports, so that report is included too.
In the vertical?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll have to go back and look because again, I got feedback that we hadn't attached that. And that's all the questions that I have. Seeing that there are no more questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes with all members present voting in favor and Member Perez being away from the dais. 706, First Amendment to the Rampello Garage Parking Lease Amendment between Tampa Bay Arena LLC and Hillsborough County Public Schools. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. So this is our Rampello Garage Parking Lease Agreement. The Tampa Bay Arena requests to renew its parking agreement with Hillsborough County Public Schools. This is the first amendment to the Rampello Garage Parking Lease Agreement since 2018. This current parking agreement expires on December 31st, 2023, just in a couple weeks. This agreement assists the Tampa Bay Arena with parking needs for their employees located at Amalie Arena. The lease allows the school district to enter into a parking agreement for parking spaces that are currently not being utilized by district staff. The Tampa Bay Arena will have use of the Rampello downtown parking garage for 6 months at a rate of $81,522. This amendment will commence on January 1st and terminate on June 30th of 2024. The 2024 monthly rent will be $13,587 for 6 months or $81,522 for the term of the amendment. So again, this is a 6-month agreement, and that is agenda item 706.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Member Washington and a second by Dr. Hahn. Member Combs and I pulled this item. Do you have a question or a comment?
Yes, thank you, Member Vaughn. I think it's really great that we're getting revenue for parking. I think that's important that we really look at every opportunity where we can gain revenue throughout the district and make sure. And Mr. Farkas, I have talked to you about this quite a bit, as well as it's great that we're generating $121,000. I just would love to look outside the box and think, why are we not doing a long-term lease to somewhere, because we don't need that property, so that way we could be generating hundreds of thousands of dollars to bring back to our schools.
So thank you for the question. We definitely need to look at all of our properties for additional revenue. That property is used for parking right now during the day for Rampello and for some of our drivers here, or some of our employees here at ROSAC. So right now it is used. So Amalie uses it after school hours, and then on the weekends as well. So this one wouldn't apply, but we've talked numerous ways that other things could be used and rented out. So I know Mr. Ayers has directed staff to look for other ways to do that. So we look forward to bringing to the board other ways to lease, other opportunities to get properties. As you know, with some of the repurposing of schools, it's also going to allow us to move some of our district staff out of district buildings. So we'll have much more flexibility and opportunities for things like this going forward.
Yeah, and I was going to say, we've talked about this a lot. We had a workshop. I'd really like to be innovative and look at ways that we can do things. And even if you look at that property here, I mean, you could add a second or third floor right there and then be able to give up that property and generate a lot of money. I mean, I just really we need to start really looking at things in a different way. And even when I look at this Rosac building, you know, this is prime property. If we're not going to get money from other places, we really need to be really, this property here is worth so much money, and to never sell it, but to do like a 90-year lease or something like that. When you talk about that parking lot, I remember our former superintendent talked about selling that for, $20 million. It's like we could really build a second floor right here, take that parking garage and have that property and look at it different ways. So I just want to continue that conversation, continue talking about it and being really innovative on how we can generate revenue so that way we can pay people more. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. Dr. Hahn?
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Gosh, we've been renting out that garage for years now, haven't we?
Yeah, about 5 years now.
I mean, longer than a lot of folks on this board have been here. So it's I just wanted to thank you for looking at different avenues over the years that I've been on the board to generate funds. Certainly, I didn't realize maybe Rosac was in the conversation again. I find that kind of interesting, considering 4 years ago, it really, or maybe 2 years ago, wasn't the appetite. We didn't have the appetite for that, but certainly would welcome that conversation to come around again. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hahn. So I just had a quick comment, and I'm not trying to rehash an old vote, but I was surprised when I thought about this, how when we were talking about at Blake, when we were doing the expansion, and some of the board members had advocated for being able to use parking proceeds towards the district. When I see something like this, it does make me wish that, we could relook at that, especially when we're talking about every single penny being, and I think it was a great thing. I'm glad that we passed that. I think it was great for the school. I know the principal was on it, but I know that during the time we had talked about how we don't have precedence for that, and we've never really done that. And anytime someone has used our schools, we've gone ahead and allowed them to rent out the parking. But when I see something like this, it does make me wonder if we could revisit that policy just to make sure that we're, supporting our schools and getting as much money into our district as possible. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you. Member Combs?
Mr. Farkas, I was going to mention it, but then I said I'm not going to mention it. But the other day when I pulled into Blake High School and I pulled into that beautiful parking lot, all I kept thinking when I looked at all the poverty and all the needs of Blake High School, all I kept thinking is, why did we not get any money for that parking that could help Blake High School? And since you mentioned it, Member Vaughn, I couldn't agree more. I think we need to look at every way that we can generate money and bring it back to the schools. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further comments, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes with all present board members voting yes and Member Perez being away from the dais. Item 901, 2024 District and School-Based Instructional Culture Survey. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. This is our last item on discussion this evening. So TNTP's Instructional Insight Survey provides a roadmap for improving leadership practices by first collecting feedback on specific practices from all stakeholders. And this one includes teachers, families, school support staff, school leadership teams, and district office staff. Leaders are then provided tools and resources to use the feedback to identify strengths and opportunities for improvement at their school or division relative to schools nationally where practices are strongest. So just some history on this, on the Insight Survey. So we began in 2021 just with teachers. In the last 2 years, 2022, 2023, it was all staff, including parents as well. So this would be the third year this year utilization of the Insight survey for all of our stakeholder groups. So just some numbers. So what are those stakeholder groups that received the survey? They received it the last 2 years. Our teachers, school support staff, our school leadership, central office, and the family survey is all we utilize this Insight survey. So just some of the numbers, and actually we had some pretty decent increases in response rates. So teachers in 2022 were at 61%, and that number jumped up to 63% for teachers in 2023. So a 2% increase in response rates for teachers, 2% increase for school support staff, central office 7%, and the family survey, which we've always struggled with in the past, was 5% in 2022. Still a low 12% response from families, but that was up 7% with a total of 18,790 responses. So this is our Insight survey that are used, and you all are familiar. We've utilized our surveys throughout our district to really look at improvement practices, culture around how we can get better. So that is this agenda item, and we're here for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item C901. I have a motion by Member Rendon and a second by Member Combs. Member Rendon, pull this item. Do you have a question or a comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Young, for meeting with me and having a conversation about this. And although I know that we are required to do the survey, and so we can't really skip a year, and I appreciate that, I do want to look at where in which we don't have to spend money. And so, again, we've got people that are able to put together a survey. We could do it in-house. We could do it with that. It doesn't have to change the numbers. We want to make sure that we're addressing the needs of our faculty, our staff, our students, our families. But it's a matter of who's going to do the survey. It's not a matter of whether we need a survey or not. We absolutely do. But it's a matter of where within the district can we look at areas where we don't need to spend the money, where we have the talent within to be able to put together a survey within our local departments and be able to utilize that. I know at one time, within other superintendents, we had been utilizing a in-house survey, and the numbers were not much different. It was about the same. And so if we could get back to doing something like that, I just want it to be on the table, have a discussion about it, see where it can be, instead of just automatically using an outside vendor and costing the district more money. So it's just something to definitely be considering and think about as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Gray?
No, I am in sync, Member Randon. The more we can do it in-house, the better. But the idea, too, is what do we do with the data? So, we're going to collect information. And I'm just reminded at Jesuit we had changed to various Insight surveys, and it got all the way spread to the teachers. So the kids were actually writing their evaluation on teachers. And these surveys, then got a little bit more uncomfortable. But at any rate, so when you get data, I guess it's important for the public to know what exactly will we do with the results that is found, no matter what type of survey. Perhaps Owen Young, would you like to respond?
Thank you, Member Gray, for the question. I think you bring up a very valid point. I know working with Dr. Lewis and just really thinking of how we become innovative with reaching out to families. When you look at the results, I think the numbers that stands out most basically is how do we connect with families. Part of the work that we're doing with Dr. Lewis with student, family, and community engagement is trying to rethink and reimagine what community engagement looks like. How do we get parents to really buy into supporting the strategic plan as well as achievement at all schools? And part of the work that we're doing, yes, we'll focus on the survey, but it's more so about embracing a culture of parental involvement so that this survey is really a part of helping the district to grow. And helping the schools to make better decisions around developing cultural plans to support families and to support community. And I think part of the onus is really on us to figure out how to deconstruct some of these barriers that will allow parents to be more involved. I think the other piece that sticks out for the data is that we equally on this side have to do a better job of helping schools to understand the importance of the survey. I think right now, when you look at the preponderance of data that schools are using to develop, whether it's their instructional priorities or cultural priorities, we have to continue to encourage them to understand the importance of this data, and this data can be used as a primary source versus a second or a third source in trying to help in shaping school culture and community involvement.
Well, I applaud the idea of community involvement. And if this helps the community become more involved in our schools, then this is wonderful, because that is a huge, as you said, it's a huge initiative that you're really doing. So I thank you for that. But at any rate, you heard the question, what does the data show? How are you using it? Because, again, it's OPM, other people's money. They're paying for this, taxpayers are, and we would like to know for sure that we're using the data wisely and with great, just very strategically for the community. So I can talk later with both of you on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. I also had some questions regarding this item. I appreciate the conversation around what do we do with the data, because that is important. As much as I like data, if we're not using it to make changes to the district to be responsive to all of our stakeholders, then it is a waste of energy and time and money. My question is, which survey, if employees wanted to give feedback about the culture and climate of their school, or if we wanted to look at the culture and the climate of the schools, would this be the survey that you would say would be the key piece of information for that? Okay, because I will say I have gotten feedback. I don't know if this represents the loud vocal few or the majority, that although you say engagement looks like it's up when you highlighted the numbers, that employees in general don't feel like this survey is as effective as previous surveys to really being able to express the concerns or celebrate the things about their schools that they like. The feedback that I've gotten is that in general our employees like the previous surveys now, and they don't really feel that this is necessarily geared towards them, or they necessarily have the opportunity to really express themselves in these surveys. And I'm not sure if this is the one, but I know that if it is tied to a Lawson number where employees have to log in, there's always a fear and a concern that as much as it's anonymous, if they are using their numbers, that they're not really free necessarily to give feedback without it being punitive. So I just wanted to share that information and feedback since I've gotten that from my schools.
Thank you, Javon. I appreciate that feedback. And we went to TNTP with this culture survey in 2021. And to Ms. Rendon's point earlier, we utilized a different company. We did it in-house. I am open to looking at all options with regards to how we take a look at culture within our schools and those surveys that go out to all of our employee groups. I know Mr. Young and Felita are looking now at what that might look like in future years. This particular agenda item will be year 3 for us of really being able to compare from 2021, 22, and then 2023 to look at see how we're doing it in comparable with previous years, but absolutely wide open to looking at other options and how, do we need surveys? Absolutely. Do I want to survey all of our employee groups? Absolutely. What instrument we use? I'm open to whatever, the board and our team looks into.
Thank you. I'd also like to ask, when is the survey going to go out? Because I know some of the concern last year was it went out right after the school year ended and everybody was trying to kind of process and get out of their classrooms and they didn't give as much engagement. So when is this survey going to go out this year?
March is the expected execution date.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is maybe next year before this item comes, we'll get some more feedback from our employees and maybe have a little more data to support or to include around this agenda item when we discuss it.
Yes, Member Vaughn, I really appreciate your ask. We're actually working cross-divisionally with Julie Sarmiento and Dr. Lewis to really explore what it might look like, getting focus groups and asking them to really dive into the survey. The point you brought up with employee numbers, ID numbers, we saw that as a major barrier, employees feeling as though if you could send me something saying that I didn't do it, how do you know that I didn't do it? So we are bringing that up as a discussion as we're exploring options with other companies to see if there are other strategies to use in order to capture feedback and to really create an anonymous culture that people could really feel free to give meaningful feedback which would then give us more accurate data to make different decisions around how we build culture.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Seeing that there are no other comments, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes with all members present voting in favor and Member Perez being away from the dais. I know that we have about 15 minutes to employee comment. We want to honor that, so I think we're going to move on to the superintendent's comments and then come back to employee comment. Thank you.
Okay, and my superintendent's comments this evening. Here we go. Just a couple of things I wanted to highlight. Just a reminder that this next Monday, December 18th, is a full instructional day due to Hurricane Idalia. If we remember, we were short some instructional hours. So just a reminder that this Monday, and we announced this I think back in a few months back that the 18th was going to be a full instructional day. So just a reminder again, next week is exams, of course, for our high schools, but Monday, December 18th is a full day. So what we're going to get into today is we talk about board within your strategic plan. We talk about academic excellence, supportive organizational culture, exceptional talent, and then fiscal and operational responsibility. Within that, we've got our components of organizational culture, fiscal and operational responsibility, and exceptional talent that ultimately leads us to our real accountability measure, which is academic excellence. So towards the end, I'm going to kind of highlight some organizational culture aspects today, like I always do, of the great things that are happening in this school district. But then we're going to look at some school grades that came out last night. So, Dorothy C. York Kindness Day. To help kick off the holiday spirit, students at York K-8 got together to form the Kindness Crew, where they stand outside during morning car line to spread words of encouragement to their peers. And to the right there, Jefferson High School brought back their student incentive event called Dragon's Lair for the first time in several years. The event celebrates students who show great behavior and improve their grades. Students were able to play games, hear from motivational speakers, and receive tickets to exchange for prizes that were provided by the school and donated by parents and community members. So the HCPS Security Holiday Shopping, Chief John Newman and his security and emergency management team continued their holiday tradition last week by purchasing gifts for students across our district. 15 schools will receive $1,000 worth of gifts, which will be distributed to students right before winter break. So shout out to Chief Newman there. To the right there, Nelson Elementary School and a few of our other Purple Star schools of distinction have been writing letters and creating drawings for military service members who may not be able to make it home for the holidays. It's the season of giving, and our community partners are going above and beyond to show their support for our students in schools. Last week, the Brink Foundation donated a total of $75,000, which will be split amongst 15 of our schools. The money will go towards student incentives, classroom resources, and more. Thank you to the Brink Foundation. And in the middle there, the Kiwanis Club 82nd Annual Children's Christmas Party. That was actually the first time I'd ever got to attend that event, and it was remarkable. The Kiwanis Club of Tampa held their 82nd event, where the Tampa Kiwanis members adopted a child or two for this event and provide gifts to around 140 of our students. So the Kiwanis Club actually selects, there's 40 of our elementary schools. They each of the elementary schools pick 4 students, and it's usually kindergarten, first and second graders. It is next year, if you have the opportunity, I'll remind each of you to head out there with me. It was a really cool event. Santa comes in at the end, and each of the Kiwanis members gives their gifts. And I don't know who was happier, the kids or the Kiwanis members giving the gifts. Yeah. It was incredible. Also, Gibsonton Elementary also received classroom supplies and gifts for 101 of their students, courtesy of their lifetime community partner, Clearview Land Design. So we talked about our strategic plan that you've been very clear about. I think we've done a really good job. And if you look at our fiscal and operational responsibility around our operations, we just had a budget update. You can see that fiscally, our operational responsibility, we're at a place now, then adding on to our culture, adding in exceptional talent, that we really get to a place of academic excellence. What I'm going to cover today are the informational baseline grades that were released last night, I think at noon yesterday. So we wanted to get that information out. But this is our reality. This is where we are. So I'm going to cover that today. So just a reminder, this 2023, if you read articles and you heard about the 23 school grade calculation, this is the baseline year for the best standards and FAST test, as they serve, as I mentioned, as an informational baseline for schools and district towards improvement in future years. What's key to remember is in that calculation, learning gains and bottom quartile learning gains for ELA and math, which of course require 2 years of data, were not included in this school's grade calculation. So yes, well, why don't they include learning gains and bottom quartile learning gains? Well, it's the first year of the assessment, so there's nothing to show gains on. So also what's interesting about this 23 school grade calculation is the grades are statistically equivalent to the percentages of 21, 22. So basically what the state did is they said, basically, if I have 32% of our state grades earning an A, in this 23, we're going to have 32% earn an A. 25% earn a B in 21, 22, 25% will earn a B this year. So here's where we are. So I wanted to look at our letter grades by grade band. We look here at elementary, and we were expecting this. We knew what moving into this assessment, knowing it was going to be just based on proficiency. We've already begun planning. We knew that we were going to expect these results. This was not a surprise to any of my team, not a surprise to our principal. We've had the data. We've been working. But this is your baseline. This is my baseline. Here's where we are. And if we look in elementary, our current situation in elementary, we have 23 Ds and 4 Fs on the informational baseline for 2023. Middle schools, you can see how from 22 to 23, so I'll just give you a second to look at those numbers as you can compare for elementary, middle, high, and combination are our K through our K to 8 sites. So you can see elementary A's go from 2022, we had 38 to 34 in 2023. And on down the line, I don't need to read all the numbers off. Everyone can see what stands out to you is our elementary increase in D's and F's, and then you can see across for the rest. But again, I would add, and I'll show you in a minute, what I'm going to go through next is how is this calculated. So I think it's real important for our board and for the public to know how these grades are calculated. Where does this come from? Which I'll detail in just a second. But here's where we are. I own it. My team owns it. My goal is to not have any D's or F's. That's one metric that you can hold me accountable to, is that in this school district, we shouldn't have any D's or F's. Now we have the measures to be able to make those movements and make those adjustments. We just had our PM1 data. If you remember, Ms. Fawcett went through that. So you've already seen some of our PM1 data. What you're looking at, so if everyone takes a look, this is the 23 school grade calculation. I think this is real important to see. So if we look at elementary this year, when we look at our elementary school grades, our elementary schools, as a reminder, were only graded on 3 cells. ELA achievement, 3s and up, math achievement, 3 and up, and science. That's it. So moving into next year, where there'll be, which I'll show you in just a second, multiple cells, that's all our elementary schools were graded on, was just based on their proficiency for ELA and math. You can see middle, and then you can see high. The next slide will show you what it's going to look like for 24, and you can see the difference. So, as we look for 2024, so let's look at elementary first, right? So let's take a deep dive into elementary and what that looks like on how school grades are calculated. So you can see for elementary, it's grade 3 through 5's ELA achievement, math achievement 3 through 5, and science 3 through 5. Look down at the bottom now. Look at the number of cells that will be added for 2024. So we have now that will be added ELA learning gains, ELA bottom quartile learning gains, math bottom quartile, and here's a key one to remember that's added new for this year, is grade 3 ELA is its own cell by itself. So you ask the question, do they count twice? Yes, they do. So grade 3 proficiency will count for a cell down there in green, and if you look, it also will count up at the top. So it's very important. Our schools have known about this, but it is an additional cell, which I agree with. Grade 3 proficiency, we've talked about it, of how important, as we look to learning to read from kindergarten to grade, from pre-K to 3rd grade, and then, reading to learn, moving on. Grade 3 is an important metric for us to look at. So you can see for elementary, the number of cells that increases, and middle and high. So what's an example of this? So as we look at some of our school grades, what is not captured back in 23's data set, we could have a student that made gains. Let's say we had a student that started the year at a level 1 and at the end of the year moved all the way to a level 2. That student in achievement proficiency is not captured. So when we look at this grades that just came out, it's just based on proficiency. It doesn't capture gains. This year, it will capture gains. So we will get credit, for lack of a better word, for students that show gain, that move from a 1 to a 2, right? Move from a 2 to a 3, right? So there is gains that will be a big part of this grade calculation. So this 2024 school grade calculation will really give us a better indication of our schools and how they're performing. We want all of our students, let me be clear, we want all of our students to be proficiency. Proficiency is what we're after. It takes time to get proficiency, and at first we can get, show gains, we'll do so, but our ultimate goal is to get to proficiency. But I wanted the public to understand is that there was a lot of cells that were not calculated in this particular 2023 school grade. It was just based on proficiency. They just took a school, how many students in ELA were proficient, what percentage? That's it. How many in math? How many were proficient 3 through 5? Where next year in 2024, it's not only going to be proficiency, ELA and math, well, then grade 3 is going to have its own, and then you can see we'll have learning gains for math, more learning gains for ELA. So it'll be a more comprehensive look at our schools and their grades. But this is where we are right now. That's a fact. That is where we are, and our schools are already, we've known this from the beginning of the year. This is just the state's opportunity to provide grades. We own these, and like I said, my team, we don't want any D's or F's, and this is your accountability measure to me on the strategic plan around our strategic priorities and leading to academic excellence. I think we've done a good job the last couple of years in getting a foundation. Now it's time to attack this. And that is all I have for my comments, but I just wanted to make sure that we had an understanding, that the board had an understanding, the public has an understanding of how these grades are calculated. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. We will now move on to employee comment. Even though we hear public comment at the beginning of the meeting, it's sometimes difficult for employees of our district to attend meetings at 4 p.m. There are many ways for employees to make their voices heard, including union representative, emails, phone calls, one-on-one conversations, and public comment at the beginning of the meeting. The board wants to hear from you. With this section of our agenda, we're creating another avenue for employees to speak to the board. We're setting aside 30 minutes for employees of the district to speak to the board about any issues that are on your mind. This is not intended to be a discussion about specific agenda items on tonight's agenda, but rather an opportunity for you to speak to the board about any issues related to your job or the district. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. I will now call the first 2 speakers. The first speaker.
Holiday greetings to the board, superintendent, and the cabinet. A common theme for this time of year is joy. Joy, yeah. And on Friday, most employees will have a reason for joy. They're going to be getting their retro payments and before the holidays. So that hasn't happened in the last few years. And this is a direct result of the contract negotiations that were productive and collaborative. It really, truly is a step in the right direction. Last week I was in a meeting with some of our members, and the tone had some frustration in it. Unfortunately, in this line of work, I get a lot of frustrated people. And I decided to flip the script a little bit, and I asked, what brings you joy in your line of work? Every single one of them, every single one. Member Rendon already knows what I'm going to say. It's being in the classroom, right? It's the kids. It's what happens within those 4 walls. So then I asked, all right, well, what's crushing that joy? What's bringing this frustration? And extraneous meetings and paperwork, no support for new curriculum, particularly ACE. Not sure what's going on there, but anybody I know who's teaching ACE, They don't feel supported, or there's a lack of direction. Excessive progress monitoring testing, constantly having to learn new systems, especially in technology. And the big one, of course, was class sizes. I don't care how you cut it. When you got 38, 40 kids in a world history classroom, I don't know how that's good for students, ever. And everybody here wants what's best for our students. I know you do, and we do. The last few years taught us, especially with COVID, that the people working directly with our kids have the greatest impact, right? So I think we really should be working to restore the joy in all aspects of their work. So a new calendar year often prompts reflection and leads us to make resolutions. So in the spirit of the holiday, I'd like to suggest a New Year's resolution for district leadership and HCTA to work collaboratively to evaluate practices that we've implemented in the last few years and determine if what we're asking our educators to do is truly in the best interest for our students, or are we just checking boxes for adults? We made a lot of progress boosting morale and repairing the culture here with the last contract negotiations. Let's continue to collaborate together to improve the working conditions and work towards making this district the best in the state, because I know we truly can be, or the nation. All right, thank you, and happy holidays to all of you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. Happy holidays. I'm Kim Henriquez. I'm from Lowry Elementary kindergarten teacher. And I just wanted to come down and say thank you. Thank you for the raise. It affords me the ability to just be more generous, to be honest with you. So I thank you for that. I came in, Tanya, thank you for noticing that I was the way I was. And thank you, Sue, not Susan, because that's when she gets called and someone's mad at her. Sue and Colleen, just them taking me aside and talking to me meant, I can't tell you what it meant to me. So thank you for listening. It makes me even prouder to be in this district. So I know I'm not going to say anything other than that. So thank you for just listening to us and working with us. I really do truly appreciate it. And the class sizes is an issue, so I'll leave it there.
Thank you. We will now move on to board comments. Board members, just a reminder, you'll have 5 minutes each to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Member Hahn?
Thank you, Member Vaughn. Superintendent Ayers, thank you for sharing that data. I know we've had you shared some of it with us to kind of digest the other day, and you're so right. It's a baseline. It's your baseline, and it's what you inherited, unfortunately. But and you're so right about the goal is proficiency, most certainly. But those gains are so important too, because they help us strategically plan how we're going to get kids to proficiency. So I'm glad we're going to be taking a closer look at those gains year to year and probably day to day, actually, in this district. When I look at the school grades starting, with elementary, my big belief is, with my focus on early childhood, is, a strong start means a strong finish in most cases. And I'm very worried about our elementary school students, because as they start to matriculate through middle and then high school, those have implications for graduation rates and future career opportunities and just all different aspects of what really prepares students for life, which is our motto. And so, again, I'm going to just say, drilling down, looking at those kindergarten readiness numbers are so critical, and making sure our students have such a strong start. When I was a teacher, kids did not learn how to read in kindergarten. That was like, they just started learning stuff about that in first grade. In kindergarten, it was more identify your letters, identify your numbers, do some sounds and blending, but now our youngest learners, who are probably not entering really developmentally ready to read, have a very high bar to reach. And so I don't think people understand or realize that either. I don't think they think that far back, from when they were in kindergarten. But for a lot of us in this room, we've been educators for so long. We clearly remember what those early years were like. And now we're asking students to do so much at such a young age. And, a lot of the students, and we've talked about this, do have trauma and very difficult personal lives that, just kind of add on to that. So much more goes into the school grades than what happens in the schoolhouse. And I think that's really important just for everybody to remember, especially our teachers who work tirelessly every day to make sure our students make those gains, that there are so many confounding variables that they don't control. But the biggest factor in student success is parent involvement. And, I really appreciated, Mr. Owens, the meeting that you set up with Ms. Lewis and the PTA to really talk about how you're going to increase parent involvement. And that really gave me a lot of hope, and I thought was a very exciting conversation. So I think that's really important work right alongside, obviously, everything academic that we're going to be doing. But, I know we have a long way to go, but I think that a lot of the things you've already implemented, Superintendent, are already bearing fruit. So I'm very hopeful under your leadership that this time next year, this is going to be a very different picture. So I appreciate, though, you going over those. And I think maybe we've talked about kind of checking in with the data quarterly just to, so this time next year, we kind of know, we were informed along the way, so to speak. And so is our community and our parents. Lastly, I just want to say it's a very exciting time of year. It's the holiday season. Everyone's got that, holiday-itis. You don't have to believe in Santa to have it. Like, I've got it. I know it's very hard for me to focus and concentrate right now. I want to be with my family. I want to be celebrating, but we have just a little bit longer to go. I'm excited because this week is my holiday book tour, so I'll be out at schools. I gift every pre-K student in District 2 with a book for the Christmas holidays. So I'll be delivering those books. So really, that's so much fun because I get to interact with the kids and be out in schools and, play Santa Claus for a couple days. But I just wanted to also take an opportunity to wish everybody a happy Hanukkah and a Merry Christmas and a very, very happy New Year. Wish you all many blessings for the new year. And thank you for another wonderful meeting that seemed to be very efficient.
Thank you, Member Hahn. Member Gray?
Okay, so, and indeed, I wrote to Superintendent Van Ayers that there's a silver lining in knowing the realities where we're at, because it motivates us to get better and bring those scores up. So there's always, you got to know where you are before you can move in any direction, and we're going to move up, and I am very confident. Referendum, always a pleasure to come by the Oversight Committee. I can't help but want to thank them publicly. They oversee with Chris Farkas too, and thank you, Mr. Farkas, as well. But over $696 million have been invested from our 2018 referendum monies, and I especially was appreciative of the Oversight Committee because they're emblematic as to how the oversight should be on revenue coming in from anything from a referendum, certainly millage, etc. So individually, Betty Castor, I thank you, the Honorable Betty Castor, Sheriff Chad Chronister, Bonnie Carr, Rick Lott, Edna Rand, Jose Valente, and all of the staff members, Kristen Davis, who's there every time. We are so proud and thankful of their work and all of what they're doing. And plus, as we learned, and Member Rendon was there at the last meeting, over 50% of the projects have been invested into the minority, woman-owned, or small business enterprises. We must remember the minorities. We must also take good care to include them in all bids. And I would say to you at this time, we have. Thank you, Mr. Farkas, and I know that you hear that often, as well deserved. Also, Pablo, can you go ahead and put that one slide up? The student online safety. I originally wanted to do a talk. It's Christmas, Hanukkah time, so I'm not. But the importance of not having cell phones in schools, because, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of safety issues going on. And right now we have together with Sheriff Chronister, the FBI of Tampa Bay, City of Tampa, Mayor Jane, a host of experts, No More Foundation, and testimonials of what happens to our children when they're exposed to some of these nefarious men, women who bring them into a human trafficking situation and/or bring them into realities that little ones, the average age now, it starts at 10 years old, are seeing. And we don't want that. So a lot of the cell phones have created, their use has created bullying, fighting, and there's a host of others. But no, this is a happy time, so let me just share. This is our schedule, and I have to thank them all, and there's a slew of them, so I guess I don't have time for that. But Drucy Diaz has been, and Superintendent Van Ayers, you have to know, she's my right-hand, left-hand person, and Ken Hart as well, works so hard. And thank you, Ms. Burkett, for sharing all the meetings to the principals. January 25th, we'll have one at Walton, and I don't ever pronounce that right because I have a New York accent. And then we have another one at Mabry Elementary School, February 8th. We'll get that on the chart. We have Middleton High School, February 29th, and I know that Owen Young, you'll be very integral in getting the community, as we know should be there as well. And April 24th, Plant City High School. So we have quite a lot of parental and student safety awareness when it comes to the phone, and I can't say enough. So I'm going to stop that and jump to another subject. So what we did, and Superintendent Van Ayers, my goodness, he didn't do any of the walking at the Santa Fest parade. I said, Van, why aren't you walking? He said, no, but I did the walk. It was a short walk. But anyway, I wanted to recognize Shake Washington was there, and the superintendent, Nicolette Barone, the teacher of the year, Mohammed Conten, oh, I messed that one up, Ida Baker, and Shinovia Shedrick, the instructor support of the year. But nonetheless, they spent extra time in the parade, and it was wonderful. Thank you, Mayor Jane. I'm out of time, so golly, it goes so quick. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Also, Superintendent, thank you for that information about the school grades, because I think that's important. And a lot of the schools are in my area, I know, and we're working on it. You know, that's the most important part. We're working to improve. So that was really good, the information that you gave out, because you were very transparent. Because a lot of times they say when you're doing grades, you try to hide something, but you were very transparent. And I really want to thank you for that, because we know how much work we have to do. And I also want to thank Dr. Patton. We had a great conversation yesterday, and thank you, because you think out the box a great deal, and I like that. That's good. Thank you for that. Thank you for that conversation. On December the 1st, we wrapped at least 1,800 gifts to be passed out this weekend on the 16th. The We See You PWC, and we'll be passing them out at Carter G. Woodson for the neighbors in that area and all the students in that area. So we have 1,800. We counted. That's a lot we wrapped, and we're trying to get some more, because we just had a couple of new parents to come and move into the neighborhood, and they need assistance. Also, I had a great time at the Santa Fest Christmas parade, because I was the DJ. I had people jamming on the sideline, dancing on the sideline. That may be a second job for me. I don't know. I may try it. But anyway, let's move on. I had opportunity to go to a charter school or to New Springs, which was quite experience for me. The mission and emphasis with New Springs focus on comprehensive K-8 education with a special emphasis on STEM. They have STEM over there, and they are committed to continuous growth, innovation, and positive response. And I think they did a great job. I enjoyed my tour there. I really did. Moving on to December the 6th, I had an opportunity to go to the tour of Recycle-Tune. And, you know, that was my first time going there. I had never been there before. Very innovative. Great word. Very innovative. In fact, you know, I didn't realize they recycle instruments and people donate instruments to the program and they pass them out to students. And they are a partnership with Hillsborough County School District, which is phenomenal and real good. From there, I guess I moved on, and I forgot I had the invitation. I went to Maniscalco, okay, to visit with the principal, Tammy Real, which was an ex-student of mine. And we had a great time. Yes. And she's doing a great job over there. We had a great visit. I had an opportunity to meet students and talk to some of the teachers and so forth. It was really nice. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a great deal. So in wrapping up, I just want to say I hope everybody have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll look forward to coming back. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Washington. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, it's a busy time of year and we're all involved in so many things, but I do want to thank the staff for their due diligence and working for the last several months on many of the deregulation bills. Your input has been invaluable. I was very blessed to be able to be at the committee today, which passed all 3 deregulation bills unanimously in the Senate. On top of that, they included much language that we have actually asked for and put in both the amendments as well as part of the bills. So your work has gone very noticed, and the Senate staff are very appreciative. They recognize Hillsborough County as being on the forefront of a lot of what we're doing. So I want to thank the staff for taking the time out to really pay attention to how our schools can be given the benefits of your work. So thank you so much. I also want to thank our delegation and the legislators from Hillsborough County. You have been advocates for us through this entire committee season. And I know that as we move into legislative session that you are going to keep Hillsborough on the forefront of everything that you're doing. And so we're very thankful for that. I also want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Three Kings, and Happy New Year to everyone. There's just so many. But thank you. And I think it was definitely relevant to tell the staff how much what you are doing is making a change for not just Hillsborough County, but the state. But you guys are definitely instrumental in what's happening in Tallahassee. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Combs?
First and foremost, I want to thank you, Superintendent Ayers, for really going over those grades and discussing those grades in great detail. I think one of the things that we're going to see is that really when we looked at phonics and made sure that it was being taught explicitly, I remember talking to the former superintendent and saying it's going to take 2 or 3 years. We've got some great people. I'm looking over at Tracy Bergman. We have so many great people in our literacy department that it is going to take a couple years to really see that. When you see YouFly, all those things that are happening, it's going to take a couple years. So it may not happen next year realistically, but we're going to keep working at it. And it's going to take, I remember, years ago, what was taught in 3rd grade is now being taught in 2nd grade. So by the time, kids are really, the expectations are so high in kindergarten, and by 2nd grade, they're reading books that were 3rd or 4th grade level. So it is going to take some time, and I'm glad that you made that a priority. I wanted to spend just a little time. I created a little PowerPoint. First, I wanted to thank the Bring Family Foundation. Pablo, the first slide. We had this great event where 13 of the schools were supported, and they gave over $75,000. The nice thing is $5,000 per school, and they can use it as is. I want to say the Bring Family Foundation doesn't just provide a check annually. What they do is they have their family goes in and tutors, works with the schools. Whenever I need anything, or if I need a PBIS room or support, they've been there. They've been in Town and Country. They've been in Mort, and now they're expanding more into District 5 to support that. So I just really want to thank them. I also wanted to share the next slide, which is I got a chance to go to Caminiti Exceptional Center, which was such an amazing place. And I want to thank the gentleman who is a paraprofessional, Mr. Latori, who helped design all these beautiful things, and then he brought them to the bazaar last Friday. I know Member Rendon and I were at the bazaar where all the students from the ESE schools were selling different things, but also Mr. Hillsbush. That enrollment has gone from under 50 to almost 100 students now. They have 90 students, and they're just doing such a great job there. And then one last slide, we do a lot of events, and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Indian Advisory Council Awards once again gave money to Mort Elementary, provides backpacks, and also recognize a lot of the key individuals in our district that support, all of our sheriff, also Mr. Collins, and just so many of the security, as well as teachers and individuals. That is such a large community, the Indian community, and they want to get more and more involved with Hillsborough County Public Schools, and they want to support us more. And then finally, I wanted to show a short video, Junior Achievement, the 3DE program over at Chamberlain. The Chamberlain Legacy Alliance, Terry Cisco, he's just done an amazing job there. We were out there, and a bunch of us were sharks, where we observed the students who actually not only create products, but then they actually make those products, and then they sell them in February. But the most amazing part of that is that Terry Cisco and that group and the 3DE, they're really looking at changing the generational poverty and the trajectory of people's life. If you walk around Chamberlain, they're always talking about the Millionaires Club. These kids, these amazing presentations. There were so many individuals from the community that came out there, Gordon Gillette, there were so many people that actually supported. These kids came up with a concept, t-shirts, shirts, and then they're actually going to manufacture them and then sell them in February. So that's amazing. And you could see the salespeople, the individuals who were there, and that was truly, truly amazing. There are so many people in our community that support our schools throughout the time, and I just wanted to highlight a few of them and thank everybody, because it really takes so much more of leaning into our community and getting community involvement. And that's why I really appreciate Mr. Owen Young. You're doing a great job really getting involved with the community, because it's going to take so many of us to make a difference. So thank you. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. First of all, Superintendent Ayers, I appreciate, just like the other fellow board members do, the conversation about the grades, and really trying to explain to our families and the public that, unlike previous years, this doesn't measure gains, right? And for me, the takeaways of looking at the data and understanding that we're not measuring the gains are, number one, what a spotlight on the opportunity gap this is, right? That our children basically are not coming in our elementary skills, especially in our most marginalized communities, with the same access to preschool and early childhood education as some of our other schools. And that really shows when you're just looking at proficiency and you're not talking about the gains that our teachers and our employees work so hard to give our students every single day. So that was a huge takeaway to me. And I think it opens up the conversation about the opportunity gap and what that looks like for us to address as a board. It was interesting to me to also see that reflected in our charter schools that also serve a lot of the same students in those marginalized communities, and how, in a lot of those communities, they're not doing any better and sometimes often worse than we are. So that reinforces to me that for a majority of our students, our traditional public schools are the best fit for our students, even within this data. Also, it really showed me that our K-8s are very successful, because minus the charter schools, our combination K-8 schools did really well when we talked about, even regardless of location or where they're at, when it talks about our students. So, I think that shows again that as we push into middle school and we have all of our employees who are working so hard, they really drive up those readiness rates. and what a testament it is to our employees and to our cabinet and to our staff. And even though, it looks like it's a step backwards, it really gives us, as other board members have said, an opportunity to talk about how a lot of this has to do with how our students come in and whether they're ready and what kind of support that looks like. And again, talking about the whole child and how we can support them holistically. So I appreciate that. Also, Pablo, do you have a slideshow? A slideshow? I have been out in my schools. We have a lot of opportunities to meet with leaders from around the county, and that's fantastic. But I really like to spend a lot of times in my schools, speaking to our employees. And as I've mentioned a billion times, I'm talking to all of our employees, our nutritional workers, our resource officers, our nurses, all of our support staff, and really getting good feedback. And amazing things are happening in our schools. This is me. This is the goat was not me, but this is me with Principal Crook in Buchanan. He's phenomenal. We are so lucky to have him in our school district. The other one is one of our media specialists from Maniscalco. If you could go to the next one, please. And then this is when I went to Martinez. I was actually able to see their agricultural program and to pet the goats, which was amazing. Their goats are beautiful, and what an opportunity we offer to our students who were so excited to show me about their goats and for me to learn all about them. I know a lot about goats now. Next slide, please. Also, Member Perez hasn't been able to be here because she is off celebrating both her birthday and the holiday with her family on a beautiful adventure, but she did want to for me to leave a message to all of our employees and staff to say thank you, happy Hanukkah, happy holidays, and the wish a very happy holiday and a great new year, and convey how much she wishes she could be here and how much she appreciates everyone. Since we're talking about being in schools, I would just like to formally invite cabinet members to come with me during a lot of my visits. I know that we have an amazing regional superintendents who do a good job bringing back the concerns, but honestly, it's not the same thing as being in there in person and having the opportunity to talk to our employees. And I have never seen so much appreciation from our employees, just having someone from the district come down and really lean in and listen to them and take the time to say thank you, and just the excitement about that. So I would love for you guys to come out with me to be able to see and hear some of the things that I hear when I'm actually in my schools. And as well, that gives me an opportunity to just say thank you, as I do every holiday, to all of our staff, including our staff right here in front of us, our cabinet, all of our employees, our teachers, our support staff, our amazing administrators. Thank you so much for the work that you do. Happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa. And I really hope we use this time to recharge, spend time with the people that you love, and really focus this holiday season on tolerance, peace, and kindness, because it's so important right now in our schools and our community and across the country. So thank you. Happy holidays. And seeing that there's no further business, this meeting is adjourned.